How fragile is this lead in the polls that has someone like Frank Luntz considering a full sweep in November?
Well, I think that the momentum is on our side, and I don't think it's a sugar high. I think it will last, and I think it will be reinforced. And of course, the vice president has been answering questions at every campaign stop and has been issuing policies, including policies on immigration, policies on abortion, policies on student loans. But I think that it's going to be a close race. There's no question about it. It's going to depend on who turns out to vote, and both sides have bases that need to be mobilized. And it's going to depend on, it's up to the women, as Eleanor Roosevelt said. We need to win women by more than we lose men. And we're on the road to doing that. Women are pretty enthusiastic about this ticket.
Well, as we assess the enthusiasm, it raises the question whether it's just enthusiasm for a different choice or a candidate, or enthusiasm around specific policy. President Biden was asked today about the policies that he and the vice president have put out under his administration, whether or not they would qualify as progressive. This is what he said, and then I have a question for you, Celinda.
Mm-hmm. The issues we've worked on together have made great progress economically. No one calls what we did on infrastructure progressive. It's a good policy.
So he notes there, Celinda, that they've worked on these things together. And given that we haven't gotten that full policy, economic policy platform outlined by Harris yet, but we're already seeing in the polls that she is doing significantly better than Biden was in July on the issue of the economy, even better than Trump in the Financial Times Michigan Ross School of Business poll that came out this week. What do we attribute that to? Do voters actually have reason to believe that her economic policy will be that different from the current administration?
Well, there are a number of things. First of all, 60% of the voters think that her policies may be different. People also think she represents change, and that's what people want, which was very hard for an incumbent president to represent. People think she's more in touch, and in fact, on the road, she's consistently said, I get it, prices are too high. She's very, very comfortable saying, I'm in touch with what you're feeling. We got to get these prices down. Her speech on Friday is going to be on price gouging and raising prices. And the really sad thing ultimately is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris had a great economic record. Nobody knew it. 60% of the voters still don't know what the Biden economics means. So she has a blank slate to define. She's going to aggressively define it. And her persona is so different that people think it represents change. And Democratic policies are quite popular. Democratic economic policies are quite popular. Our challenge has been voters don't know we've done something about them.
Yet we see in poll after poll, Celinda, and I don't need to tell you this, it's what you do for a living, that people are still upset about prices, that they don't think Joe Biden has managed to get to this inflation problem. And Kamala Harris is going to be talking Friday about how to lower prices. She's been part of this administration for the last 3 years. How does she separate the two?
I think she doesn't question it's not about the past. We're not litigating the past. We're litigating the future. And there are two very different futures here. And she has a record. She has a record as Attorney General, where she was one of the first Attorney Generals to go after prescription drug prices and take on pharma. She took on the mortgage industry and got $1.8 billion for her consumers in California. She took on for-profit education and got money back from student loans. So she has a record here, but this is about the future. She has concrete policies. She's an aggressive negotiator and litigator. She's for change, and she has the ability to define herself here. And Donald Trump is so busy doing weird stuff and bizarre comments and disrespectful and dangerous comments that he doesn't have time to lay out his economic policies.
Celinda, I was struck by a new poll that came out today by USA Today and Suffolk University. In the state of Florida, not one that we currently have on our swing state list, but they describe Harris in striking distance of Trump in Florida. Trump's up just 5 points in the survey. And we remind ourselves here that Ron DeSantis won governor of Florida in a 19-point blowout in 2022. Would it be wise for the Harris campaign to start investing resources in the Sunshine State?
I think the Harris campaign, and Jen O'Malley Dillon is really the architect of this, the Harris campaign is very disciplined. We stay focused on the battleground states. Trying to go into Florida is like trying to go into Western Europe. It's so many media markets. It's so expensive. This is a team that will keep their eye on the prize. We have our 7 battleground states. We're going to win those states, and we're going to concentrate on them.
I have to ask you lastly about, Celinda, what we're learning about the lineup next week in Chicago. Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton on Monday night. Sort of seems like they're getting that out of the way, followed Tuesday by Barack Obama. And interesting, it will be Bill Clinton who speaks on the second most important night when Tim Walz addresses the delegates in the hall. I'm sure I don't need to remind you that there was an effort to cancel the former president, Bill Clinton, in the Me Too movement. The Democratic Party seemed to be moving beyond the Bill Clinton era because of his behavior. Why is he being featured on such a prominent night if we're looking to the future?
Democrats like Bill Clinton. Democrats are enthused by Bill Clinton. Democrats think that Bill Clinton was a good president. He energizes the base. And I think what the lineup shows is just that we have an abundance of riches. And we have a number of strong, popular, presidential contenders who know what it takes to get this economy going. Bill Clinton got the economy going, who know what it takes to help real people. And I think it's a lot better lineup than a wrestler who tears his shirt off and a guy who has current questionable lean to questions.